7 Series, they instituted it a little earlier than the other cars, and they quit using it in 2000, 2001. The 7 Series, they started using it at about, I want to say 93, maybe 95, and they quit using it in 2003. They switched over to CAS. On the 3 Series, most of your 95, 96 3 Series, all the way up to 2005, have the EWS system. The Z3 and the Z4 up to 2005 both have EWS system. The X3 and the X5 also have the EWS system, but I'm not quite sure what year they switched over to CAS. Quick way to figure out if you have a BMW that has EWS or CAS. If the customer brings in a key and says, can you make a copy of this, first thing you want to do is get out your AK90, go ahead and start the program. The program will start and it will look at all the COM ports looking for the AK90 piece of equipment. When it finds it, it will beep. Okay, now what you want to do is take the key, because you can't tell the difference between an EWS or a CAS later model key. If it's a diamond remote, there's a chance it could be CAS or EWS. It is the older 4-track. 9 out of 10 times it is going to be EWS. They quit doing the 4-track when they went to CAS. If you have the older version that has the older remote, 9 times out of 10 that's going to be EWS. Same thing with the older version, that's a 4-track. Okay, the easiest way to tell is take the key, put it into the reader, go down to test key. The AK90 will read the key and it will tell you. This one says it's a CAS, CAS2, or CAS3. EWS is not in this vehicle. You cannot make a key for it with this system. This is another diamond remote. It looks pretty much the same. Put this in the reader, close that, click test key, it will read the key. This one says it's EWS, it gives you that information. So, we can make a key for this. Now let's get to the EWS units. There are a few different EWS units. This is one of the originals that came out of an E36 3 Series, and basically you pull the two halves apart, pop out the board, and on this board the large chip is what we are going to read. This is a EWS 2 also. It's just in a later case. You can tell the older EWS by the plug. The plug will have big pins on it. To get this one out, you pop open the top, push it on the plug, it pops out. It is the same style of chip right there, and that is what we're going to read to make it key. The later version, and you can usually tell the later versions by two things. One, if you look at the casing, it will have thing on the outside and it'll say EWS 3, also, or EWS 4, plus it'll have tangs. These tangs are what secure the EWS up to the firewall on later models, usually above the clutch pedal or the brake pedal. When you're looking for the older EWS, they're either going to be snap-tied or snapped into a plastic holder, or they're going to be alongside the column. So now that we've got the EWS apart, to get this one out of the case on the EWS 3, there are tangs on the side of the plug. So you squeeze those, push it in, and it pops out. Okay, so we'll start with the EWS 2, and we'll make a key for a customer. Customer came in, they have an E36 series and said, hey, I need a key. Okay, they already have one. You're able to cut the physical part of the key. Then you take the EWS out. When you look at the EWS, there will be numbers and letters on the chip that will tell you what it is. This is a 2D47J. So we go down to the EWS read write. We go to 2D47J. If you go down to EWS picture, this will open up a picture and it will tell you there's the chip. This is the top of it above the Motorola signature. And it will show over on the right a smaller picture of how to place the socket on top of it. Some of the sockets have red, some of them have blue. This one has blue. You take this socket, you put it on the chip, wiggle it, and a lot of times you might have to take toothbrush or something and clear off some of the varnish. Now that we have it connected, we click Read EWS. It says connect the module. OK. The older ones take a minute to read the chip. The older Motorola chips just aren't as fast. OK, then it'll ask to save it. I just click OK, OK. Now we have read the data from the chip, and it's on the screen in binary. For us to analyze it, we go to the EWS Analyze. Click on that, and what this tells you is the VIN number, the type, which is EWS2, and the key status. Keys 1 through 5 are used on this. This is where it didn't make sense to me at the beginning. When it says keys are used, why would I want to make a key that's already used? The way the EWS works, when these were built, this is from an old BMW mechanic. He said that when the car was built, they actually made 4 keys. They shipped 3 with the car and then kept 1 in storage. In case customer loses it, they could call and get it. I don't know if that's true or not, but 99% of all the EWSs I have looked at have 4 keys in the used position. If the customer comes in and they have keys 1, 2, and 3, just go ahead and make key number 4, and that will usually, when I say usually, that's usually the one that isn't around. So if we exit this, we'll go down to write key. Okay, remember, we've read the EWS, we've gone ahead and we've analyzed it, and on this one it shows 5, but let's just say it has 4. It always defaults to the last key that's being used. So if we click on 4, then go down here to PCF 793035, because all of the, I shouldn't say all, most of the chips or most of the keys that come from China or any of the vendors, which get them from China, they have the PCF 7935 chip in the key, and it's an ID44 BMW chip. So we are going to put this key, which has that chip in there, we'll put it in the reader. Now I'm going to write the key. It asks you to put the key in the coil, right? Yes or no? Yes. So what it will do, it will actually write all the data to the key, and then it verifies it. Sometimes it takes a few minutes. Okay, right key OK. Now to check to make sure that we have written the key correctly, you go down and you click on test key. Right now it is reading that key that we just wrote, and if you look it says key type EWS2 key number 4, and that's what we wrote to it. All you have to do is cut the key, bring it out, put the EWS back in the car, put the key in the ignition, it'll fire up and drive away. Okay, that is EWS2. And just realize the 7935 chips are rewritable. So this is the later model, which has the three spade connections, the males, and then it has 12 little pins inside the plug. That's how you know that you have EWS 3 or 4. Okay, this is the same thing. You look on the chip, it tells you this one's an OD46J. You go over here, you click on OD46J. That's typical of the EWS3. Now, go down to the EWS picture, click on it, brings it up, it says OD46J. That's how we put the reader, the socket, on top of it. Same as the EWS2. So we'll go ahead, we'll put the socket on chip, wiggle it around, makes good contact. Then we will do this again. Read EWS. Connect it? Yes. Okay, so now we are reading the chip on the EWS board. The later versions will go a little bit quicker usually. It'll ask you to save it. Click yes, save bin, okay. Now, same thing, we're going to go down to EWS Analyze. Click on EWS Analyze. The EWS 3 and 4 will give you more information. This one will tell you the number, the odometer. You can actually change the odometer or the VIN number. If a customer comes in and has a bad EWS unit, which is not unheard of, it does happen. A lot of times what will happen on the EWS unit, this black box, are relays. The relays will go bad. When the relays go bad, it doesn't allow electricity to the starter or to the system, and it won't let it start the car. Now on this one, if you look at this, it says key status used all the way up to 6. The reason it's all the way up to 6 is because I put extra few keys in there. If you had a customer who came in, their house got broken into, lost all the keys for the car except for one, what you can do is shut off the other keys and then make a couple of others, and that way they don't have to worry about the person who stole the keys can still get in the car, but they can't start it. To do that, you would go ahead and you would click locked, 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 locked. Let's say they stole keys 1 through 4. Okay, see how it says modify to dump? Basically, what you're going to do is, when you read the chip, you downloaded what's called a dump. So now we click modify to dump. What you just did is you modified the code that you have